ask the question. The screen's not here. You have starters for switching.
Um, I mean, I have starters. I'm not telling you, but I have starters. Nice try. Tip our hat to Kareem there.
Out of curiosity, have essentially a roster minus me in this game.
Yeah.
What's your approach going into that post situation that you have with very talented post players? You got to get them all minutes. What are you thinking as you approach that?
Yeah. I mean, good challenge to have. I mean, just, I was watching them in our shoot around today and just like the energy and how well they get along with each other and then just the unique skills that they all have. And so that's the answer is like what the game calls for. That's what we're going to be proactive about and active about in the moment, and just pull on the different skill sets, and try to benefit from this, um, just the sheer talent. I mean, just the sheer talent as I think of the six of them.
Being in Baltimore, what does it mean for the team, franchise, the players being in a situation like this against Indiana and with a lot of fans going to be in the building?
Yeah, I was just mentioning earlier that you have Indiana, which great state of basketball and a lot of history there, and then the DMV, second to none in terms of the number of players and teams and coaches who've come out of here. So to have that, to share this stage, and we are sharing it. We're mindful of our place in sports, women's sports in particular. So it's cool to have a number of people coming out and supporting these two teams and the communities that they represent. And, I'm hoping it's a really good game.
Before the season, I asked you, how you made it and played some games, how you assess it.
Yeah, I mean, you just rookie thrown into the fire, she's able to make shots, which is huge for us. We need to balance, talk about this front court. We need to balance it with perimeter play. She's a sponge. That's the biggest thing about her is she has a skill set. She's got the mid-range game. She's stretching it out to three. But her wanting to get better, which fits in well with a lot of our players, if not all. But she's as aggressive as anyone in terms of trying to get better and learn quickly, and that bodes well because rookies, it's a tough go. They just stopped playing, 6 weeks ago in terms of their NCAA season, and now they're thrown into a whole nother level, and you got to learn fast. And she's doing the best she can with that. I'm having the time of my life. Like I tell them, people think I'm crazy. I don't know if my bosses believe me, but I'm just really enjoying this. Slim and Steph are our vets that I really rely on a ton, and then there's just a world of youth in between. We're the youngest team by a mile, but there's an opportunity here for us to show all the habits that we look to form in training camp, um, who we are as people, who we are as players, and to test that against the best athletes in the world and best coaches. So for me, it's been a joy. I mean, just a joy. And obviously we want some wins to come along the way, and so we'll work our tails off, every single week.
I think I'm supposed to use the microphone, so I'll use the microphone. I see one of the bracelets on your wrist is black and orange, and excuse me, your old stomping grounds and the class of your players has produced quite a few coaches up and down the ranks of the sport. What do you think was in the water back then that led to you, Mitch Henderson, and others all succeeding at the same time?
We all had the benefit of, being coached by, one of the greatest coaches in the game. And then Pete Carrill and all of his assistants, who were magnificent people, and became like father figures to us. So whether that's Armand Hill, John Thompson III, Bill Carmody, Howie Levy, Joe Scott, Bill Carmody, you just keep going on and on. And I'm just talking about the coaches that I worked with, who were my assistants. So there are other great ones as well. And so I think just that culture of really caring about basketball, it being transformative. I think that's a big thing that I want to note is that it's truly a transformative basketball and student athlete experience at Princeton. And you just kind of want to. It's just been years and years trying to recreate that, just to be perfectly blunt. And that's why I'm enjoying this gig so much.
Hi, Coach. You mentioned at shoot around that this Fever team is still really tough, even without a player like Caitlin Clark on the floor. When it comes to slowing down their offense, what are the sorts of things that you're keying in on defensively that will be really important for you guys to come out with a win tonight?
Yeah, you just nailed it. I mean, they have the number one pace in the league, so slowing them down is key. They're constantly on the aggressive. Obviously, it has a good amount to do with Caitlin, but it takes 5 to tango. So they get out and go, and I think their pace will be very close to how they normally play. They really want to score inside. AB is such a tremendous weapon. She's a wonderful player, and they're cutting and offensive rebounding, and so they're just really potent, in terms of scoring. So we're going to have to contend with that for 40 full minutes. And if they get a lot of things easy, it's going to be tough for us. If we can make them work, we're in a much better position, and then we can get out and go, which is something we want to do. That's our brand of basketball as well.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? Rob Knox from the Next. I know you mentioned a little while ago about playing in Baltimore. What were some of the logistical differences for you all to make this a home, to play home? Like, obviously, I know you were in Phoenix a few days ago.
Yeah.
Came home, practice, traveled. What was some of those logistics like? If you could just share some of those specifics, please.
Yeah, I think the big one that I can share is just that we came today. We didn't treat it as like a road trip in the sense of like staying overnight and all that stuff. We felt confident that we could get here in a good amount of time, which we did. A little bit of rain, but we got here a game day. Had a nice shoot around in terms of some of the things that we wanted to do and be directed, but also get loose and have some fun. And then relax a bit at the hotel and come on over. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just the game day travel. But I don't expect that to be too impactful or a negative. That's the only thing that jumps out. Yeah.
If we're ready for Zoom, we can go to Jen.
Hey, Sydney, you've stressed the importance throughout the season of taking care of the ball, and I'm just curious, after you watched the film from the Phoenix game with those turnovers, what were kind of your takeaways about the types of turnovers you were committing and how you can limit those?
Yeah, full credit to Phoenix. They really played hard. I think it was a combination of their aggressive defense and frankly the way the game was called. It was really, really physical. And so just part of the learning curve. We just got hit in the mouth a couple times. But I'd also say, we can do a better job in terms of putting our players in spots where we can give them some press releases and some different personnel there as well. So it's a combination of some things that we learned, and it all started with, I do want to start with just Phoenix playing hard, defensively. So with all of that, I think it's part of the journey of just give away 30 possessions and you're still in the game. It's actually kind of a miracle that was a single possession game down the stretch, but obviously we would love to have 15 of those back and have 15 more possessions for our young players to develop against one of the better teams in the league. And so we let ourselves down there, but we'll learn, and I'm expecting that we improve moving forward.
And just one more for you. I kind of want to ask philosophically, not specific to the Phoenix game, but on the West Coast trip, there seemed to be possessions in crunch time where you had a couple shot clock violations, and then there were also possessions where you went pretty quick. But based on the score, maybe some other folks would slow it down. So I'm curious, as you're trying to play fast, does that hold late in games, when maybe you're up 2 or up 3, or does clock management come into your system there at all?
Yeah, really, really good question. I think that's the dance that you have to play, and that's the dance that our team will figure out as we go. We're playing some teams that have figured that out already. They're well established in terms of like skill sets, roles. We literally today, I'm getting our roster, fully healthy today, game 6. So, I'm just thinking of Vegas in particular, a team that just like kind of knows what they want to do. And there's some coaching there, don't get me wrong, but they kind of know what they want to do down the stretch. Our players are figuring out what they can do, let alone, what we want to do collectively. And I'm here for it. Can't wait. So I guess I would just say there is pace, style, identity, and how much we have to be mindful of time and situation late in games. That's all very obvious. There's also the underbelly of just we're young, and that's just real. Like if you have to just identify that. And the youth means figuring out what you can and cannot get away with individually, and then as a team, and then jump to the next step. And you can't fast forward that. There's no quick fix for that whatsoever.
Thank you.
All right, coach, I think
Thank
that's
you.
it.
Enjoy the game.